What is going on, guys? Dalton here, back with another episode of DC Collects. Today, we're going over 5 of the most common Funko Pop collecting mistakes. Let's get collecting. Okay, so let's dive right into this list. First up, we have not being okay with a little bit of box damage. So, a little tiny nick, little dent here, something that's barely noticeable. So being okay with a little bit of box damage is going to save you a ton of money. Most of the time when it's got a little bit of damage, you can get the pop for about 60 to 70% of its PPG. PPG, which is Pop Price Guide, and recent eBay solds are how most pop collectors determine the price of a pop. Being okay with a little bit of box damage is especially true when you're going after a grail or expensive pop you've always wanted. If you're okay with a small rip in the box or a small crease that you can barely see, it's gonna save you a ton of money. Now, I'm not saying go out and get a destroyed box by any means, because a lot of the value is in the box itself. But if it's just a couple of small defects that you can barely notice, I'll buy that all day long. Okay, moving on to mistake number 2, which is collecting too fast. So this is where you start collecting or are collecting and you see one line of pops, such as the new Ant-Man Quantumanium pops, and you buy that line. And then the new Guardians of the Galaxy pops drop. They haven't yet, but when they do, you go buy that whole line. And then another whole line. And then another whole line. Between all the hype and FOMO, you are just buying pops left, right, and center. But you're not really slowing down to track what you're collecting, and you're not concentrating on your collecting goals. Sometimes you need to stop, take a breather, and reevaluate your collecting goals and what you really enjoy collecting. And I won't lie, I've definitely done this myself. Ran out and bought the whole line of the newest pops, only to look at them 6 months later and go, geez, I wish I really had saved all that money and bought this pop that I really wanted, a grail that I've always wanted, a pop that I've always wanted in my collection, or at least put that money towards that pop. And I find that this happens to a lot of newer collectors a lot of the time. So don't give in to the FOMO. A lot of the times it makes you buy stuff that you really don't even truly want in your collection. It just seems like you do because it's all the hype right now. At the end of the day, you need to focus on your collecting goals and what you really like. Moving on, we have mistake number 3, and this one might seem simple, but I see it getting overlooked. And that is not using protectors. Always use protection. This is a very important step in protecting your Funko Pops. There are basically 2 types of protectors, soft and hard. Generally, there's a basic rule of thumb that any grails or pops worth over $100 go in a hard stack, and anything less than that goes in a soft protector. That's how I do it anyway. So I do have a hard case here, guys. As you can see, the hard case is definitely a lot more worry-free. It takes a lot of force to smash one of these, and like you literally have to purposely smash this thing off like a concrete floor or something to damage this pop. It would be really hard to damage a pop in one of these hard stack cases. This is the pop hard stacks. And then I do have a soft protector here. So as you can see, it is not hard, obviously, like the other case, but while it can sustain a little bit of damage, like it's really hard to push in that corner there, so it might be able to fall from a small distance and hit the floor, but I wouldn't trust it 100% if you're going to be putting them up high or anywhere precarious that you think it might fall whatsoever, which I don't recommend doing anyway. So it will provide a little bit of protection as well as doing the main jobs, just like the hard case, of protecting from dust and scratches. It is important to know that some protectors are UV resistant, but most are not. That's something you're going to have to do research into when you're buying your protectors. Most of the time when they are UV resistant, they put it pretty plainly for you to see because they want to advertise it. It's an added feature, but you're probably going to pay more as well. But most protectors do not have the UV protection, so always keep your pops out of the sun too. I recommend vaulted vinyl for both hard and soft protectors, as well as the pop hard stacks that I just showed you for the hard stack protectors. As I said before, never put your pops in a questionable spot. If it even looks a little bit like it's gonna fall, or you have any doubts in your mind whatsoever about the shelf that you're putting it on, or the bookcase falling, anything that you're gonna put your pops on, if you have any worry whatsoever about that, don't put them on there at all, and use your protectors at all times like I told you on all your pops. So it doesn't matter how inexpensive your pop was, it at least gets a soft protector and you'll never have to worry. Okay, so moving on to mistake number 4, and that is not doing your research. And this is a big one, guys. It's very important to do your research on every single pop you buy. I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone say, oh, I went and bought this pop and I didn't know there was a glow variant or a con exclusive variant or a metallic chase that they would have rather had instead. Or they went and bought a pop, sometimes a more expensive pop, only to find out it was fake. And when you look at that pop, there are some really clear telltale signs that it was fake, but because that person didn't do the research, they got scammed. If you're doing your research, guys, you're gonna know about the exclusives, the variants, the different chases. You're gonna know the different little telltale signs to tell if you're getting scammed in a pop transaction. There are a lot of great videos online. A great way to make sure that a pop isn't fake, and it varies per pop, so I can't give you a specific source right now, but depending on your pop, again, you have to do your research, but you have to find a verified picture of a real pop. And then from that picture, you can do your comparison on the pop you're purchasing. So how do you do your research, you may ask? Well, one way is you can read up on Google, or a great way would be to subscribe to a YouTube channel like DC Collects. I make 4 to 5 videos a week. Tips, tricks, unboxings. So if you love Funko, this channel is definitely for you. So as I said, researching is imperative. Research is how I found out the best protectors to use. We were even talking about questionable shelves to put your pops on, so you could maybe even research how to secure a shelf to the wall properly so that nothing falls if you don't know how to do so. There's many different aspects of this hobby that you can research into. No matter what, you're only going to help you and your collecting goals in the end. A great example is the 10-inch Galactus with Silver Surfer. So this is the common PX Previews exclusive. So if you didn't do your research, you might go out and buy that pop. But not only is there this common, but there's also a blacklight variant. And that variant has a chase. So you could say that that's the most expensive version of that pop. So if you're into having the rarest version of the pop, you would probably want to go for that one. But wait a minute. I bet you didn't know that there is a 1500 limited piece Galactus with Silver Surfer. Looks like a Starry Night edition, which is super sick. But this is a perfect example. If you even just only did a little bit of research, you'd probably find the blacklight pop. But if you didn't dive right in and do all the research on this pop, you would have never seen the 1500 limited piece. And in my opinion, and if you were going after the rarer pieces, you're going to want to put your money towards the 1500 limited piece. Mind you, watch that, because the farther that gets shipped, the bigger the box, the more it might get damaged. But that's for another video. Last up for mistakes, and this one's super important. They're all important, but this one's really important, and it's not setting a budget. So no matter what your income is, you have to set a budget. So after paying your bills, buying groceries, getting all the necessities that you need for life, and I'm gonna say even putting a little bit away for an emergency fund, how much do you have left over that you want to spend on Funko Pops? Say it's $75 a month. That is your absolute limit for your budget on Funko Pops every single month. So if you want a grail that you've always wanted, say it's $300, you have to go 4 months without spending a single dime on Pops, saving that budget till you get the $300 and buying that Pop. So that means no quick trips to Walmart, no quick trips to the Pop store, nothing. There's nothing worse than going to do the other things that are important in your life and not having money to do them because you spent it on Funko Pops. It can take the fun out of collecting really quickly. Not only that, but a budget is going to really force you to prioritize what you're collecting and getting the Pops you've always wanted. It forces you to slow down and be more methodical about your purchases and your collecting goals. So really, budget and collecting too fast kind of go hand in hand, and if you can do both, they are going to really help you in your collecting journey. All 5, and I promise you, you'll be collecting Funko Pops until you can't anymore. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.